What is going on, Laker fans? Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll let some people come aboard here, coming in a little bit earlier than I put on my timer there. Lakers lose to the Sacramento Kings. We'll be spending some time talking about it here on the post-game show. 120 to 107, the final score. Got a lot of stuff to get into. Some comments from Anthony Davis before the game, which kind of had me scratching my head a little bit about this game coming in against the Sacramento Kings in this matchup against Sabonis. A really weird energy from the Lakers tonight. I don't know if you guys know what I'm referring to, but it just the energy felt off. Maybe it was just more to do with that third quarter, but it didn't really feel like this was that important of a game to the Lakers. Of course, Sacramento always plays the Lakers tough. AD gets outplayed again by Sabonis. We'll talk about it. D'Angelo Russell, awful night on a day that, a huge piece was written by Dave McMenamin that I thought was very favorable towards D'Angelo, but also interesting to kind of get in the mind of D'Lo. D'Lo has a terrible game. And then, of course, the standings, what this does to the Lakers in the standings. They got another game coming up against the Golden State Warriors. We'll talk a little bit about that game coming up on Saturday, which actually becomes a huge game just to kind of avoid this number 10 spot. So we'll do that as well. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. Underdog Fantasy is a proud partner of the channel, the show, and the post-game show. I got a couple picks for tomorrow's games that I'll get to in a little bit. The Suns are at Boston. Tatum and Kevin Durant. I'll pick higher or lower on those. I'll show that to you, and you guys can take advantage of Underdog Fantasy through our code HoopsLA. Okay, let's get into it. 120-107, the final score. There was a quote before the game started that I actually thought, I brought it up to Michael Thompson, and I thought it set a tone for what tonight was going to be. And look, this is just one person's opinion. This is my opinion on the quote. And other people probably wouldn't think it's a big deal, but I thought it kind of set the table. Dave McMenamin, before the game, this was at practice. I don't know if he asked the question, but somebody asked the question where they brought up to Anthony Davis that Domantas Sabonis is 9-0 against him in his career. And I'll read the exact quote. He said, "I'm all about the team. The one-on-one thing, it doesn't bother me." So that's what he said. Pre-game show, I played it on the pregame show, and then I talked to Michael Thompson about it. And I just told Michael, I was like, Michael, I don't like it. I don't like the quote. Like, why isn't Anthony Davis making this more personal? Why aren't the Lakers making it more personal against the Sacramento Kings? I mean, they're getting their asses kicked by the Kings every game so far this year. I know, some of them are close, reasonably close, but definitely the last two, they're double-digit losses. Why would he be okay with saying, yeah, I'm 9-0 against Domantas Sabonis. It is what it is. Not a big deal. I'm all about the team. Okay, well, it's not like he can come back and say, yeah, but I'm 6-3 against Domantas Sabonis as far as our team wins versus Sabonis and whoever he's representing. That's not the case. The Lakers are actually getting their ass kicked against the Sacramento Kings, and frankly, the Kings own the Lakers right now. I saw this stat, and I know everybody's probably looking at it. How about this? Since 2022, January 12th, 2022, Lakers have 8 of their last 9 games against the Sacramento Kings are L's. So they lost January 12th, 2022. They lost November 11th, 2022. They lost December 21st, 2022. They won one game. It was January 7th, 2023 by 2 points, 136 to 134. Lost again in January of 2023, October of 2023, November of 2023, March 6th, 2024, and March 13th, 2024. Lakers are losing, and frankly, it's as lopsided as it is against any team right now. I know Denver has their number, but so do the Sacramento Kings. They've lost 8 of 9 to the Sacramento Kings, and the quote we're getting back from Anthony Davis is, it doesn't matter how I do personally against Domantas Sabonis. It's it doesn't bother me. It's all about the team. Yeah, but your team is losing against Domantas Sabonis and the Sacramento Kings. They've lost 8 of their last 9 games. Just at least for me, to start the game, I already thought like, all right, I don't like the sounds of that. I've been saying this and I've been preaching it, whether on my radio show on 710 ESPN or doing stuff with you guys on YouTube or Lakers Talk. They need to take this matchup more personal because the Sacramento Kings take it personal against the Lakers, and the Lakers just don't. And frankly, it showed tonight. Third quarter, I don't know what that team was in the third quarter. I don't know. It was like I said, there was a kind of a weird energy or vibe in that third quarter. LeBron looked awful and slow. Anthony Davis looked incredibly indecisive. D'Angelo Russell, couldn't find the basket or wasn't even looking at the basket. There was just a really weird energy. I think the first field goal that the Lakers got in this game in the third quarter was with about 6 minutes left to go in the third. They got outscored 28-17. So, I think from that perspective, obviously that's bad in itself right there, just simply because they're only down by 4 come halftime. And to get dominated in the third quarter, once the third quarter was done, you're down 15. The game was over. I mean, we could all sit here and try to pretend, listening to the broadcast on ESPN, every time Lakers cut it to like 10 or 11, they go, it's not over yet. Still plenty of time for the Lakers. I'm like, yeah, they're not coming back. I mean, maybe you start thinking of the game against the Clippers where the Lakers were down 21 in the fourth or whatever it was. But the difference with Sacramento, they weren't trying to milk the clock. Sacramento was, okay, give us a ball. We're going to find ways to score. Harrison Barnes was an absolute killer tonight for Sacramento. He hit 7 threes for, I think these are the players that stood out to me the most, and I'm not even going to mention De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis yet. It's Harrison Barnes gave you 23. Keegan Murray gave you 19. Between Keegan Murray and Harrison Barnes, there's 12 three-pointers right there. Between just those two players, there was 12 three-pointers. Lakers had 14 on the night, 12 for just Keegan Murray and Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes had some backbreakers. Some of them you could just tell LeBron, energy-wise, was like, is he really hitting that shot as well? Yes, he is. I mean, between the two of them, 12 of 21 from 3. So incredibly efficient as well. I thought even, in a game, and I know not all of us know Keon Ellis, and we know everything about him. I thought he was good. So, again, aside from their 2 stars, they had some good representation, 14 points from him. Monk, who's an absolute baller, didn't even play well or shoot well. He only had 8 points. But between Monk, Chris Duarte, Davion Mitchell, they had some guys that were chipping in enough to get them, 12, 20, 24, 26 points off the bench for them. And we won't even talk about the Lakers bench because they don't have a bench. It doesn't exist. And I haven't even mentioned Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox yet. So I think that was the key. They had a lot of people contributing. You would have thought Sabonis took 18, 19 shots in tonight's game. He only took 10. So there's the Sacramento Kings players, and you could see how many different guys contributed for them. I thought De'Aaron Fox was all right tonight. He wasn't 44. He was 9 of 20 from the field, struggled from the 3-point line. He wasn't great there. Him and Monk didn't do very well from the 3-point line. Still ended up with 21 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. I think found some guys at the right time, hit a couple timely buckets, but ultimately I thought it was the other players that were the difference of this game. And I'll get into Sabonis in a second. I'll get into Sabonis and AD at the same time. For the Lakers, yes, LeBron turned it on in the fourth quarter, but through 3 quarters, LeBron was very, very average and not efficient. 2 of 8 from the 3-point line. I kept getting confused watching the game. I'm like, who played yesterday? Was it the Bucks or the Lakers? I'm sorry, was it the Kings or the Lakers? Kings played the Bucks yesterday. All these dudes played 30-plus minutes last night, or close to 30 minutes. And it's a second of a back-to-back, yet the Kings, imagine if Kings actually got rest. Lakers looked old tonight. There were times they looked disinterested tonight. I thought Robert Horry and James Worthy said something really that made a lot of sense in the post-game show. They were doing it on Spectrum. They just talked about how when you play physical against the Lakers, they don't really fight back. There isn't this. I mean, if you let the Lakers bully you, they're going to take advantage of it. But if you throw a couple punches back at the Lakers, yeah, they're not exactly this team that's, all right, you can throw as many punches as you want, but we're going to be here all night. It's going to be a freaking battle. Even if you win this game, you're going to walk away from this game saying, geez, that Laker team is scrappy. They're tough to beat. I got to go get in an ice bath. I mean, I'm sore. I'm this and that. I don't feel like that happens with the Lakers. They don't do that. They just don't do that. So 120 to 107, the final score. I do want to hit on a couple of the players for the Lakers. I mentioned LeBron. I know statistically it says 18, 9, and 13, but I don't think Bron looked at good tonight. He wasn't really efficient either. Just 6 of 16 from the field and 2 of 8 from the three-point line. D'Angelo Russell was really, really bad. The article that ESPN had on D'Lo today, D'Angelo Russell's journey from Lakers trade chip to clutch time hero. And one of the quotes, I'm ready for it. I studied for this test. I know it's just one bad game. I'm just telling you the timing of that article with D'Angelo responding with this type of game, it's just bad timing. D'Lo wasn't good tonight. D'Lo wasn't effective tonight. D'Lo, there are times I could watch a game of D'Angelo Russell and say, okay, even if he didn't have this bucket going, he got everybody else involved. He figured out ways. The Sacramento Kings, the 2 games that they played the Lakers over this last week or so, the one thing I'll give the Sacramento Kings credit on, they know how to handle D'Angelo Russell. And I don't know if part of that is they just take it to him on the defensive side. Last week when the Lakers played, D'Lo ended up with 10 points, 3 assists. He was 3 of 10 from the field, 2 of 6 from the three-point line. Tonight against the Kings, D'Lo was 2 of 9 from the field, 1 of 4 from the three-point line, 6 points, 6 assists, and literally had no impact at all in this game. So the Sacramento Kings are doing something right. Austin Reeves, really good game for him, hit 7 threes. I thought Rui Hachimura, 9 of 11, very efficient. But really in the second half, they quieted down Rui Hachimura a lot. And Austin Reeves, got a couple threes late, but most of his imprint came in the first half, less in the second half. And those were just kind of my overall thoughts on the specific players. I still haven't done Sabonis and Anthony Davis. I'll do that in just a second. Let me get to some of these comments here. Sammy is working on the comments in the background, doing his due diligence. So I'm going to take a quick look here at what he has. King played yesterday, too. We had 2 days off. Francis, thank you for the super. By the way, just a quick reminder, you throw a super in, 100% we'll read it. I'm with you. We had 2 days off. This week, this is one of the more unique weeks the Lakers will ever play. The week starts on Monday. No game Monday, no game Tuesday. Wednesday versus the Kings. No game Thursday, no game Friday. Saturday versus the Golden State Warriors. So less games, but 2 really important games. They start out the week 0-1, and I'll get into it a little bit later of how critical Saturday's game comes to. But Francis, you're right. Kings had the Bucks yesterday. We were all kind of watching it, and Sammy was about to do a pre-video, but he was wanting to preview this game, but he wanted to wait till the Kings-Bucks game was done so that we can kind of have some context to it. Okay, Francis, I appreciate it. Let's see what else we got here. LBJ, D'Lo, and AD stinker in the first half. Well, they also weren't unbelievable in the second half. I mean, D'Lo was bad all game. Nobody did anything in the third quarter, and LeBron, tried turning it on in the third. I'm going to get into Anthony Davis. I purposely have waited on him. I'll get into him in just a second. The AD and LeBron title window, I don't know how much time we have left of it. Every day it's ticking. Every single day it's ticking. I like this one. Sabonis living rent-free in AD's head. Yes, he is. Bye-bye 6 seed. It's funny. I thought the Lakers were going to pass the Kings. I said this a week ago. I said that you can't split with the Kings. You got to actually win both games because you're also worried about the tiebreaker. Because of the tiebreaker and because they went 0-5, or they're already 4 games back of the Sacramento Kings, in the loss column. They're technically 5 games back from the number 6 spot. You only have 14 games to go. Let me give some breaking news here. Lakers are not coming out of the play-in tournament. Well, I'm sorry. They're not avoiding the play-in tournament. They're going to be in the play-in tournament. The question is just going to be, what seed are they going to be in? Are they going to be in the 7th or the 8th or the 9th or the 10th? That's the only question. And frankly, it's starting to lean more towards it's going to be the 9th or the 10th. Might as well called it a night in the third quarter. Bargain shopper, you're right. That's funny. Gotta be honest about the third quarter. I was talking about it with Sammy too before I came on. The third quarter, to me, they just kind of reached a point with just the way they were playing, the lack of energy, the confusion, it was almost like, well, they don't care. Why should Laker fans care? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. What was the point of doing that? Francis. Kings played yesterday too. We had 2 days off. Also, now I know why AD does not go to Europe during off season. Now, damn. Okay. I think what he's saying is that the Euros own him. Francis, thank you for the super brother. I appreciate that. Let's get a couple more things going here. The Kings are inside our head. We don't look like we can compete. A lot of nights doesn't look like they're competing. Dinwiddie sucks. Another donut for a minute playing time. I'm going to lump together, but I do agree with you that the Dinwiddie stuff does stand out because that's kind of the main reason why you brought him. The whole bench, there's no bench on this Lakers team. What they have, 11, 13 points. 13 points. The bench for the Kings, 24, 26 points. So the Kings scored twice as many points as the Lakers bench, Kings bench, and that's with Malik Monk doing nothing tonight. I mean, Monk usually drops 20, 15 on his own, 18 on his own, 30 on his own. That's with him doing nothing, and they still outscore the Lakers bench. So that's a consistent issue for the Lakers. Let's see. Only good thing about these losses is they don't have to play Sacramento or Denver anymore this season. You're not lying there. Unless they got the opportunity in the playoffs. Yeah, I'm noticing a pattern we do when we plays against the Nuggets and the Kings. It's not good. Well, either way, these last 2 games, D'Angelo Russell against Sacramento Kings took him out of those 2 games. Okay, let me get into another topic that I want to get into. So Sabonis outplays AD again. These head-to-head so far. So Sabonis tonight, another triple-double. 17 points, 19 rebounds, and 10 assists. Anthony Davis tonight, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. I can't remember if it was Ori or James Worthy that said it on Spectrum, but they said, look, I felt Sabonis in the game. I felt his presence. I felt the 17, 19, and 10. I felt it. You feel Sabonis in these games. I didn't feel AD tonight. I didn't feel AD. AD, he hit a corner 3 there towards the end, had a couple of buckets. Nothing was loud. I see Laker players, and this kind of happens often. It's one of the things I don't like about this team. I feel like there's always a lot of complaining to the referees rather than, all right, he fouled me. They didn't call it. Cool. I'm going to come right back at you. You're going to call it the next time, and if you don't call it the next time, I'm going to find a way to score on this dude. Instead, it's looking at the referees. It's looking at, again, I'll go back to, you could just be physical with the Lakers. If you're just physical with the Lakers, there's a good chance you're going to beat the Lakers. That's why I think that quote bothered me so much before the game. Anthony Davis on Domantas Sabonis, 9-0 record against him in his career. I'm all about the team. The one-on-one thing, it doesn't bother me. It bothered me that it didn't bother him. Sabonis is outplaying Anthony Davis, period. I don't know if you guys remember this, but a couple shows ago, I talked about it, that if you look at the last 4 losses to the Lakers, all of them, the big men has outplayed Anthony Davis. And should have or could have been 5 if Lakers lost to Bucks, but D'Lo saved the Lakers. It would have been Giannis. But Yusuf Nurkic, Kola Jokic, Domantas Sabonis, and Domantas Sabonis. He's getting outplayed. Some of these big time. That's why I was a little hesitant. I get it. It was a cool stat line. He did something never happened in the NBA before. But what he did against the Minnesota Timberwolves is like, all right, Karl Anthony Towns is not there, and Rudy Gobert. Like, come on. They don't have a big. I get it. It's cool. 27, 25, the 7 steals, amazing. Lakers beat Minnesota. But come on. I mean, I could have grabbed 7 rebounds on Sunday. And I don't know if you guys have seen my athletic ability, but I could have grabbed 7. I could have had 2 steals against Minnesota. But you guys know what I'm referring to, right? The 2 big men are not there. It was tonight's game that's the game. It's like, all right, let's go to work against Domantas Sabonis. And I'm not trying to, make a case here that Anthony Davis has not had a good season, a great season. He's been available. He's played now in, I think, 62 or 63 games. I think this was his 63rd game. He's had a really good season. But there's also some times where he gets outplayed, and it's like, you're getting outplayed again by this guy? Sabonis has had his has definitely kind of, I don't know if you want to call it ran circles around Anthony Davis, but kind of run circles around Anthony Davis. All right, let's get to more of these comments here. Sean Ba, thank you for the super. I appreciate that. We're not getting out of the playing tournament. This team looks like the Atlanta Hawks of the West. I'm done with this season, honestly. I'll tell you what they're in some real jeopardy of, and I think this just kind of comes with the territory. Listen, if it's 9-10 Lakers Warriors, all Golden State's going to say is we just got to be healthy. That's what Golden State's going to say, and I'm sure the Lakers are going to say the same thing. We just got to be healthy. That's a coin flip game. I mean, it is. Steph has a good night. Clay, starts hitting some shots early. Andrew Wiggins, Moses Moody, Gary Payton. You got guys that obviously play defense. It's not like the Golden State Warriors are awful. Okay, well, that's just the game. I'm just assuming here was 9-10, and this is how it was. That's just the game to get another game, right? That's just the first one to survive. And then you got to go on the road and survive somewhere else. Who knows? It might be in Phoenix, or it could be in Dallas against Luka. Whatever it is, it just kind of shows. And that's before you even get, like I said, that's before you even get a chance. And you know who's sitting number 1 right now in the Western Conference? It's the Denver Nuggets. So they've kind of quietly moved up in the standings, and your reward after that would be the Denver Nuggets after you've played 2 extra games and everything else. So, Sean, I know what you're saying here. We still got a ways to go, but this has kind of been part of the Lakers season. I guess the good news that somebody mentioned earlier is we don't have to play the Kings anymore or the Nuggets anymore unless we're in the playoffs. Lakers Town. Thank you very much for I appreciate you putting in the super here. LeBron, AD, and D'Lo didn't come to play. D'Lo not being aggressive. AD looked lost, frustrated watching Sabonis being physical, and AD taking it. Sliwa, where's the fight? There wasn't any fight, buddy. I think that's kind of part of my point. One of the things I kind of like, one of the things I like most in sports is when there's a little chippiness. When there's one team that you could tell isn't crazy about another team. When you could tell that there's 2 teams that maybe there's a little chirping going on of, no, I get it. We've lost a lot of games against them. We're aware of that, and we're ready to go tonight. And we're going to try to make sure that comes to an end tonight. Wake up the squad a little bit. Instead to try to be, I like how Michael Thompson put in the pregame show. He's like, all these guys think they're too cool for school. They don't want to make any, they don't want to make any mention of, nah, this isn't that big of a deal. It's just the regular season. I agree with him. Some teams and some players are just too nonchalant. The Lakers right now were incredibly nonchalant this game, and you do that enough against the Sacramento Kings, you're 0-4 against the Kings this season. I think your point about D'Lo not being aggressive, it's a weird night for him. He just looked out of touch the entire game, all game. Sometimes I remember he hit a three, and the broadcasters on ESPN were saying, something to the effect of like, this can get him going. Nah, I didn't get him going. Nothing got him going. And then I like the part of AD look lost. Yeah, again, I'll go back to it. If you want to get AD out of his game, push him around a little bit. That's going to get him out of his game. That's the best way to get Anthony Davis out of his game is push him around a little bit. All right, shout out here to Underdog Fantasy. They are a proud partner, a fantastic partner of the post-game show here on Hoops Talk. If you guys don't know how to play or you don't know about Underdog Fantasy, I'll explain it to you. They're a daily fantasy sports site. DFS is the acronym for it, and it's really fun to play. You can play games that have nothing to do with the teams that you're looking for. If you feel like you know the NBA or you know baseball's about to start or you know college basketball with the tournament starting, just makes the games funner. I always do pick'ems. I do pregame. Pregame are games that are going to be coming up tomorrow or later in the day. And I already got my game here, Phoenix at Boston. This one's got a little skin in the game because it's the Phoenix Suns, and Lakers obviously need Phoenix to grab an L. It's Tatum and it's Kevin Durant. I'm going to go lower on KD because Boston's one of the best defenses in the NBA. Jason Tatum, 30.5 points, higher or lower. I'll go actually lower on both of these. I'll go Jason Tatum lower than 30.5 points. I'll go Kevin Durant lower than 27.5 points. I put my total here, which is $20. If I win it, if I get both correct, I win $60. That's it. My picks are in. That's how easy it is. If you could use the code HoopsLA, they'll match your first deposit of up to $100. Again, use that code HoopsLA. They'll match your deposit of up to $100. So appreciate you guys hanging out for that. And let's get back into it. All right, let's get some of your comments here, and then I'm going to spend a little time previewing the next game that the Lakers have. Our only hope is getting Vando, Vincent, and Reddish back. You know what's crazy, Craig? I did not actually realize this, but I was reading it when I was doing my prep for the pregame. I'm going to actually find this stat here real quick. Remember at some point, the Lakers used to be a defensive team, and that was kind of their identity of what they were trying to be. The Lakers have a 28th defensive rating over the last 10 games. Basically, they don't play defense anymore. I don't think they care to play defense anymore either. Mike Trudell puts this thing out on Lakers.com, 3 things to know. I'm going to read a couple things from it. Lakers are 28th defensive rating over their last 10 games and have struggled in a variety of areas. During that stretch, the Lakers have been a bottom 10 team in opponent fast break points and opponent points in the paint, while also ranking 19th in second chance points allowed. There's just a lot of these stats here. And listen, I don't disagree. I do think the Cam Reddish out again with that right ankle sprain. It's, I guess, sore, still continues to be sore. Jared Vanderbilt had that midfoot sprain. Go back to Gabe Vincent, who the Lakers, when they originally signed him, I think some of the thought process is this guy is going to be able to hit some open shots. He's also going to play defense. He was just in the NBA Finals for the Miami Heat. He's part of that Heat culture. How far can you really go if you can't play defense? How far can you really go if you're a team that can't play D? I don't want to be a team that's known for our offense because offense is going to come and go. Defense has got to be the staple, and that certainly hasn't been the staple. All right, what if we fall in the play-in where we have to play the Sacramento Kings in the play-in where it's win or go home? What if the Nuggets were also waiting at the number 1 seed if we get in? Robert, all those scenarios can happen, and be honest with you, none of them would surprise me up to this point. Sprinkle of positivity. Reason Rui now versus the start of the season. Yeah, much better. I'd say Rui's still kind of, he'll have a game like tonight where he's 9 of 11, and then I won't even know that he'll play in the next game. That's kind of the little bit of the roller coaster with Rui Hachimura. Okay, if you guys got some more comments, feel free to put them in, and I'll do my best to get to them. I know there's a lot coming in, but I'm going to keep kind of rolling with the show here, and I'll try to get to more of these comments in just a second. Warriors had a game today. And actually, while the game was going on, I'm like, what's better for the Lakers? Was it Warriors played the Mavs? Is it better for the Mavs to win, or is it better for the Warriors to win? I thought it was better for the Warriors to win, just because you get a little bit closer to number 8. Dallas, a little bit of breathing room. Ever since they lost 3 games in a row, they've now won 4 games in a row. So Dallas obviously trying to get out of the mix here. Here's a problem with where the Lakers are sitting, and this is going to lead me into the game against the Golden State Warriors. Golden State lost to Chicago at home, lost to San Antonio at home, and lost Steph Curry for about, I think it's going to be about 5 games now that he's been out, give or take. And the Lakers really didn't gain that much ground. The Lakers have 31 losses. The Warriors have 31 losses. There's a game coming up on Saturday, Lakers and the Golden State Warriors, that could potentially be the difference. I want to see a stat here. Could potentially be the difference of, if it's 9-10, basically who has the home game. So far, the Lakers this year, and it's going to determine the tiebreaker, if I'm correct on this one. No, that means they're going to still have another game against each other. So Lakers, Warriors in February. Lakers lost that game. Lakers, Warriors in January won that game. You guys remember that double overtime game, the 145-144? I got to look at one thing here. I'm assuming they got 2 more games left against the Warriors. Yeah, they do. Oh, okay. They got 2 more games left, and both of them are at home. So it's a big one. And then also you got a game April 9th against the Golden State Warriors. That one's going to be home too. So this one on Saturday and these games against the Warriors basically could determine if you're in a play-in game. Is that game going to be in San Francisco, or is that game going to be at Crypto? I've already said this a couple different times. I've already said that the Lakers, if they are the number 10 seed, I do not have confidence that they're going to be playing past the regular season, that they're not going to be playing in that first round playoff game. I just don't. I don't believe they're going to win 2 games on the road. 9, obviously. All right, win 1 home game, take your chances with 1 road game wherever it is. But I don't think they're winning 2 games in a row on the road. Golden State, Steph has missed X amount of games, but he's going to practice with the team. I'll read you the exact, this was a report that came, I think it was yesterday. He got reevaluated, or Monday. He's been cleared for on-court workouts and will participate in team practice Friday prior to Saturday's game against the Lakers. So either he's not ready to go and they're going to be more cautious with Steph Curry, or they already planned, hey, he's basically been out for 2 weeks, put him back in the lineup against the Lakers, and they're going to take their chances in that game against the Lakers. But they lost a little bit earlier to the Dallas Mavericks, so that's something to keep in mind. Golden State was rolling up until Steph got injured. They were playing really, really good basketball. I know they got demolished by Boston. That was kind of an ugly loss for them, but they followed that up with a big win over Milwaukee. And then he got injured against Chicago. They lost to Chicago, lost to San Antonio, beat San Antonio, lost to Dallas. So the moment he went out, they've lost 3 or 4. They're a completely different team when Steph is there. And I actually think the Warriors are a little dangerous. I do. I believe they're a little dangerous. In a weird way, I think the Warriors could make a little bit of noise. Certainly Saturday, we'll get to see it firsthand. We'll find out what happens. But I guess that entire game just comes down to whether Steph is available or he's not. Let me look here real quick. So he got injured Thursday, March 7th. If he doesn't play until March 16th, so about 9 days off, something like that. We'll see. We'll see if he ends up playing in that game or if he's still out from there. Ham deserves blame. All right. Christian, stop blaming Ham. Lakers can't run with the Kings. Who would have thought that? Like the Kings are this juggernaut. To get swept by them? Lakers came from 2 days off. Kings came from back to back. Yeah, a lot of people are pointing this one out that they're frustrated. They're frustrated for that reason alone. Lakers actually had rest, and it didn't matter. Meaningless points by AD. What else we got here? Do you think 7th is realistic? Only way I think they're getting 7th. They got the tiebreaker on the Suns, so you got to basically rely on the Suns to start losing some games. That's a 4-game difference. So I don't know. No. Can it happen? Sure, but no, I don't think it's going to happen. 14 games left in the season, the regular season. No, I don't think it's going to happen. Slee, LeBron failed us as a leader tonight. He looked scared and kept repeatedly getting doomed, cooked and hiding. Darren Fox cooked us badly again. Harrison Barnes, Elson Murray. Harrison Barnes was his shots and his buckets, and Keegan Murray is I thought were the biggest backbreakers tonight. I see what else we got here. You don't play basketball if you don't play defense. That's kind of my point of why I was pointing out who the Lakers are right now. They're not a defensive team. If you're not a defensive team, what really are you? You know? And I don't think you have a team out there that I don't think you really have a team out there that is probably going to be really, really consistent on offense. I think you're going to have nights where the shot's falling, and then you're going to have nights where the shot's not falling. Al hating on Rui once again. Not hating, brother. Pointing out what I see. Rui was good tonight. Somebody said that Rui, for the positive tonight, Rui and Austin Reeves were good tonight. They were. Rui was 9 of 11. You can't ask for any more. 20 points. Austin Reeves was 10 of 17, 7 threes. You can't ask for any more. But Rui is also going to have nights where you don't really feel his presence. Let's look at Rui actually these last couple of nights. Let's see how he does. At Sacramento game tonight, he had 20 points. Last game against Minnesota, 15 points. I'll take that all day. 12 points against the Milwaukee Bucks. That's fine. Nothing crazy there. 29 in the loss to the Sacramento Kings. Great. OKC, 7 points. Denver, 23 points. And maybe I am hating a little bit. Actually, his stats are better than I thought. More consistent than I thought. 8 points against Washington. No, he's more consistent lately. I think that's fair then. But I'm not hating. All right, let's see what we got. Not even with the help of the referees, the Lakers can win. What was the just out of curiosity? I want to see how many free throws for the Lakers. I want those to know. Anybody who, at least to understand, Lakers always dominate from the free throw line. Yeah, they took 10 more free throws than the Kings, but I get it. Kings are not driving to the basket every possession. They took 41 threes. Lakers took 32. So you could tell that they're much more dependent on the outside than they are on than home. We got 4 games coming up from home. That is correct. And then they're going to go on a 6-game road trip. So they go Golden State, Atlanta, Philly, and Indiana, all very winnable games. But to be honest with you, they'll probably do some damage over those games. So just depending on what the rest of the schedules look like, I want to see here. I know this changes after every game. Tankathon remaining schedule. Phoenix still has the second toughest schedule left in the NBA. Lakers now, they got through a lot of their tough games. Now the 21st toughest schedule in the NBA. Sacramento's got the 8th toughest. Just looking at teams in front of the Lakers. Dallas, the 22nd toughest. Golden State, 23rd toughest. So the teams you need to pass, Dallas and Golden State, also have easy schedules. So something to keep in mind there. All right, Laker fans. Kings dominate the Lakers again. They own the Lakers. That's just kind of the reality of the situation. They beat the Lakers 120-107. That is all I got tonight. I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Sammy, thank you for handling the work in the background. Thank you for all the comments. Please subscribe to the channel. We'll get back with you guys Saturday after the Lakers take on the Golden State Warriors. Friday night, probably, Sammy will be posting something previewing the Lakers and the King, or the Lakers and the Warriors. I like fans. Appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your